Missiles launch. Cities shake. News alerts flash across your phone. Leaders speak with confidence, but families hide in fear. And in moments like this, one question quietly rises in the heart when nations go to war. What does the Quran really say? Is it just politics? Is it destiny? Or is something much deeper happening beneath the surface? The Quran does not ignore war. It does not pretend conflict never happens. From the earliest stories, we see struggle between truth and falsehood. But the Quran does something powerful. It shifts the focus. It reminds us that war is not just about land or power. It is about justice. It is about accountability. And it is about what happens after death. Allah tells us that corruption has appeared on land and sea because of what people's hands have earned. Think about that. Wars are not random accidents. They are often the result of human choices. Greed, pride, injustice, oppression. When nations act without moral limits, the earth feels the impact. But here is something important. The Quran does not allow chaos without rules. Even in conflict, there are boundaries. Allah commands justice. He warns against transgression. He makes it clear that hatred should never push a person into injustice. That alone changes how we look at global turmoil. In this world, war is often described as strength, power, strategy. But the Quran reminds us that true strength is moral strength. True power belongs only to Allah. Nations may rise, armies may look unstoppable, but Allah says that days of victory and defeat rotate among people. No empire is permanent. No superpower is eternal. History proves it. Kingdoms that once ruled the world are now chapters in books. Flags that once waved over continents are now memories. The Quran wants us to see that worldly power is temporary. The real and lasting reality is the hereafter. Imagine two soldiers on opposite sides of a battlefield. Both are human. Both will die one day. The Quran says every soul will taste death. Not just civilians. Not just the weak. Everyone. And after death, there is no nationality, no rank, no title, only deeds. This is where the perspective changes. When nations go to war, the Quran reminds believers that this life is a test. Some are tested with power. Some are tested with fear. Some are tested with loss. The real question is not who controls the land. The real question is who remains just, who remains patient, who remembers Allah in chaos. The Quran describes believers during times of fear. When they saw enemies gathering, it did not break them. It increased them in faith. They said, Allah is enough for us. That response is powerful. Not panic, not despair, trust. But trust does not mean ignoring injustice. The Quran commands standing firm for justice, even if it is against yourselves. That means moral responsibility never disappears. War does not erase accountability. Every decision, every action, every drop of blood spilled unjustly will be questioned on the day of judgment. Picture that day for a moment. The sky torn apart, mountains crumbling, graves opening, leaders and followers standing side by side. No bodyguards, no armies. The Quran describes a day when even close friends will run from one another. A day when excuses will not work. Those who caused oppression will not escape. Those who remained patient will not be forgotten. The scale of deeds will be set, not by human courts, by the most just. This is why the Quran keeps bringing us back to the hereafter. Because, without that perspective, war feels meaningless or overwhelming. With it, you realize that nothing is truly lost. Every injustice is recorded. Every act of courage is recorded. Every innocent tear is seen. On Life After Death stories, we reflect on these moments because headlines fade, but accountability does not. Nations argue today. Tomorrow they will be dust. But the soul continues. The grave waits for every leader, every soldier, every civilian. And the questions in that grave are not about borders, they are about faith. So how should a believer respond when nations go to war? Not with blind anger, not with hopeless fear, but with awareness, with prayer, with justice in their own life. The Quran teaches that you may not control global events, but you control your heart, your speech, your actions. War reminds us how fragile life is. One explosion can end a lifetime of plans that should wake us up. It should push us closer to Allah, not deeper into hatred. It should make us prepare for the day when no nation matters, only your record. Because one day, the final trumpet will be blown, not by a government, not by a general, by the command of Allah. And every war, every empire, every conflict will suddenly feel small compared to that moment. So when you watch the news tonight, ask yourself something honest. If I met Allah tomorrow, would I be ready? Am I living justly? Am I preparing for eternity? Or only reacting to headlines? If this reflection made you think differently about global conflict, share your thoughts in the comments. How do you believe faith should shape our response to war? And if this reminder grounded you even a little, pass it on. Because in a world shaken by conflict, sometimes the strongest thing you can build is a heart anchored in the Hereafter.